my Monday afternoon catch-up time. I wanted to talk today about self-image, being overweight, and let's start from the beginning. Pretty much my whole life, in one way or another, I've struggled. Don't you love those phone calls that come in at the most inopportune moments? Pretty much my whole life, I've struggled with this idea of being overweight, or feeling unattractive, or just having this idea of myself that I'm somehow not good enough. And here I am in my late 40s, and it's still something that creeps up and kind of bites me on the bum, so to speak, every now and then, sometimes more every now than then. And notwithstanding the fact that I have had two very beautiful husbands, anyway, no details here, but there have been lots of beautiful men in my life. So it's not like I know logically that it's not true, but somehow I've got this habitual sort of sticky stuff from my very early childhood that somehow I'm not good enough, somehow I'm not attractive, somehow, whatever. And I just know it's not true. Anyway, wasn't planning to go into all of this. What I did want to talk about was the fact that having struggled pretty much my whole life with being overweight, coming and going, I sat back and, when I became a parent, thought, I remember sitting as a 7 or 8 year old on the toilet and just feeling all my roles and just despairing at the fact that I was such an obese child. I remember comments that would come from people, bullies, people that would make fun of you, and I just felt so inadequate. And so somewhere along the line, I have made, probably largely unconsciously, but this decision that I didn't want my children to experience that. My standard breakfast was cornflakes with maybe a banana, if you're lucky, with sugar on top. So cornflakes, I know now, is already full of sugar, but I put sugar on top as well. Then we'd have maybe Wheat Bix for a little bit of variety, sugar on top. And the other are the doozy Cocoa Pops, right? So, laden with sugar before you even get them out of the packet, which probably has more nutrients according to a 1960s study than the actual, breakfast cereals themselves. Cocoa Pops, sugar on top, moo milk, cow's milk, boom, you've got the perfect recipe for a child who, if you take a child who's having a pretty challenging time in her childhood anyway, with issues and challenges and things that go on between working parents and rah-de-rah. It's, excuse the pun, but it's a recipe for obese disaster. And it wasn't until I was 9 or 10 that we moved to an entirely different part of the country that I started to live a different lifestyle. I had a different diet. My mum really took notice of, I think, of what was going into my mouth, and I slimmed down and I became pretty much a normal teenager. What I wanted to share with you is a really super simple recipe. This idea came to me this morning because I made it for my children for breakfast this morning. So first day back at school today, Monday, first day of 4th term. All of a sudden the holiday sleep-ins have to stop, and boom, it's out of bed and have a shower and get dressed, and you've got this, you've got that, you've got your hat, you've got your water bottle, you've got your lunchbox. And I thought, okay, what am I going to make for breakfast? So I'm just going to share some of the tips that I use to get through being a working mum, a business owner, and all the other juggling balls that we have in the air. So usually I make a big pot of porridge, and I'm going to pop the recipe for this in the comments. I make a big pot of porridge. It's completely without honey, without sugar, without any sort of sweetener of any kind. There is fruit in there, but that's including artificial sweeteners. And then what I make is this really delicious sauce that you can make up quick as a wink. And I'll give you the recipe for that too, but basically it's avocados, bananas. I put in some unhulled tahini today and some cacao, so it looks like a chocolate sauce, and it's naturally sweet because the bananas give it that sweetness. A big dollop of that on top. And then I make up my own version of 5 different seeds and nuts, which are blended to like a fine kind of crunchy powder, and they live in the fridge. So then there's a sprinkle of that on top. So you've got 3 absolute nutrient bombs, which your children can have before school, and still go to school with loads of protein, loads of healthy food, and enough to get them through to lunchtime or mid-morning or whenever they have their next snack. But you're not giving them, at least what I experienced as an obese child. I wish that my parents had had the forethought not to necessarily believe the advertising, but to actually look deeper and to read the labels, and that's what's coming in our generation. So it's not that you're so busy you can't make breakfast for your children. You totally can. You totally can. It takes a little bit of planning. It takes a little bit of organization, and it's totally doable. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. I wanted to mention the fact that, soon, very soon, I'll be releasing an ebook. At the moment it's free, soon enough it won't be. It's 12 recipes, so it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and some sort of morning and afternoon tea kind of snacks in the middle. So it's stuff you can take on a picnic. It's stuff you can, basically use in whatever context that you like. 12 recipes. They all use essential oils. So as you know, I use a lot of essential oils in my food, in my cooking. And they're all made, they're gluten-free, they're dairy-free, they're sugar-free. Now that means also no artificial sweeteners. And they're really delicious, and they're kid tested because I've been serving them to my kids for years. Now, obviously at the beginning, some children are going to balk and go, I don't like that, I don't want that, I don't like this. So just make a little bit, model, really healthy eating yourself, and before too long, they'll absolutely be lunging for them. I've said enough. Thanks for tuning in. Please like my YouTube channel and come back for some more information, because I've got so much to share about healthy nutrition and raising happy, healthy families, and lots of other things. Ciao.